Hey everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and as always, hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I had a pretty cool weekend. Headed out with the wife to actually a boatload of different places. Actually ended up spending the day with Miss Sickness. Miss Sickness Jr. was spending the day at the in-laws at my wife's house. So I ended up having a pretty fun day with the wife. Headed out and did some cinema hunting. First place, and the only place we actually really intended to even go, was the Strawberry Festival in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, put on by the Grace Lutheran Church out there. It is a strawberry festival, I guess celebrating strawberries. I guess it's strawberry season. I don't know. I don't eat strawberries. But they also have a flea market that goes on there as well, which is the part I was interested in. So we headed out there. Pretty cool. Found some awesome stuff out there. On the way home then, we actually were passing a local bowling alley. And in the parking lot, apparently, they were having a flea market as well. Got there kind of towards the end. People were like leaving. But I was still able to find some cool stuff there. So I saw that, had to pull over. Then we went to go pick up Cinema Sickness Jr., but when we got to the in-laws' house, Cinema Sickness Jr., they had put him down for a nap, so he was sleeping. So it was really cool. My mother-in-law was like, hey, you guys go have a fun day. He's sleeping. He'll be out for like another hour, hour and a half. You know, when he wakes up, he can just hang out here. We'll have fun and stuff. You guys go have a fun-filled day. Just go do some stuff. So we weren't quite sure what to do, and I was just in the mood to head out to the country. So we drove out maybe like 30 to 45 minutes away to this Goodwill that I haven't been at in years. Used to go out there all the time when I used to date a girl out there, and I've been with Miss Sickness now for, was it like 11 years now we've been dating? So it's been a long time since I've been out to this Goodwill. So we headed out there to check that out. Found some cool stuff out there. And then right down the road about 10 minutes, there's another Goodwill. I figured we're out here. Let's stop there as well. Hit them up also. And found some really cool stuff there also. So it was a really fun day of cinema hunting with Miss Sickness, which is always a fun time in my opinion. Get to spend time with the wife. And I get to buy some media. You can't go wrong. So of course, I brought the camera with me. I shot a whole bunch of video. So let's go do some hunting. Well, alright guys, here we are at the Grace Lutheran Church Strawberry Festival in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. They also have a flea market that goes on as well, which is pretty cool. Flea market was the only thing to be found. My wife and I were looking for strawberries. My wife's a big fan of strawberries. Me, not so much, but she loves them. And we couldn't even find any strawberries. I don't know what that was about, but they did have a flea market, and that was the part I was most interested in. And look at it, guys. Tons of stuff. Really awesome church, too. I was kind of taken aback by how cool this church was. But look at all the goodies in here. Very awesome. Had to dig in. And first thing up, we come across some CDs. That lady there got kind of gypped. She looked inside the CD she wanted, and there was no disc in it. Poor her. But look at all the DVDs they have. Lots of stuff here. Unfortunately, not much in the way of anything I needed. Again, unfortunately. But they did have a decent selection. Some cool things like The Orphanage. That was a pretty decent movie. I like that. Teen Witch. You can't go wrong with Teen Witch. But again, these are all things I already own. Did not need to pick any of this up, including Zombie Honeymoon. Another cool title, but again, another title that I do have. So then on to the CDs. Now that lady, who unfortunately did not get the CD she wanted, was done looking through them. And not much in the way right here. But they did have some more over here, and I got a little bit lucky. Look at that, some Conway Twitty. Yes! Greatest hits. Definitely had to pick that up. That was pretty cool. Pretty blown away by that. And this was a cool find. Unfortunately, it is a soundtrack I do already own. Really cool soundtrack. Really awesome to come across that, but I have it. Did not need to pick that up. And unfortunately, most of what else they had was just stuff I had no interest in and was just going to completely pass on. But one thing I love out in church is great sax. Love great sax in the church. That was an interesting find as well. So then on to some VHS, and we have some A&E documentaries here about outlaws, Wild West outlaws. That was really cool. Definitely interested in that. And that was mostly it. Not too much more in the way of VHS I had any interest in. They were dirt cheap though, which was really cool, but unfortunately just nothing I really needed. Seems like VHS are just getting harder and harder to come across these days. That's really cool that like Video Visits releases, but I already had that, did not need that. And White Fang, cool, but didn't need to grab that either. And these are great, those train VHS tapes there. I already have them though, I do not need them. And there's this History Channel documentary, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. That was kind of a weird release. And yes, I did pick up the White Fang that fell over. I know somebody's going to ask about it. I did pick it up when I was done filming. And some Route 66. That was cool, but I did pass on it. And here's this History Channel VHS that is factory sealed, but nowhere on it doesn't mention what documentary is inside. I guess it's just a mystery tape. I had no idea, so unfortunately I had to pass on that. And tons of records. Do you think there's any Laserdiscs in there? There might be, but I did not look. And this was pretty awesome. Pretty excited about what was down here. I didn't pick it up. I did pass on it because I knew I would never play it, but it was just such a cool thing to see. And that is the remote control board game. Do you guys remember watching that show? I used to watch it all the time on MTV. That is awesome. If I'm not mistaken, Colin Quinn was on that show, wasn't he? Very cool to come across that. And the Kennedy Space Center trucker hat, really cool as well. Didn't grab it, but that was pretty cool to find. And so was this awesome Tweety and Sylvester cup. That was neat as well. And I was blown away by the amount of really cool Halloween stuff they have here. I love Halloween. I like going into all those Christmas stores and just going immediately to like the Halloween section and checking out all the Halloween decor and whatnot. If it was up to me, my entire house would be decorated for Halloween 24/7, 365 days a year, all the time. Nothing but Halloween. Unfortunately, since I'm married, my wife is not too keen on that idea, but it was me, all Halloween, all year round, so very cool. But then when we left the Strawberry Festival, we were driving down the street, and it turns out a local bowling alley was also having a flea market, so I had to stop and check this out. And right off the bat, look at all this cool Disney art. This was really neat. These were $2 a piece. I almost grabbed every single one. Unfortunately, what was I going to do with all these? I had no idea, but they were really nice, all framed and everything, so cool. And at $2, that was a steal, but I did only grab one. And then on to some more VHS tapes here, all for $1 a piece, not a bad deal. And we have some trains. I love model trains, very cool. And then some more model trains. I love coming across model train VHS tapes. Definitely had to grab those. And then some DVDs here. Unfortunately, nothing I needed. In fact, I actually own every single DVD on this table. So, very cool finds, but nothing I needed to grab. And then some more DVDs here. And it's actually some really good titles. Unfortunately, just good titles I either already had or did not need. So I ended up passing up on all this stuff. But it's pretty cool to see some Blu-rays there and some Disney and stuff. That was pretty cool. But again, nothing I needed. So after that, I decided to head out to a Goodwill about 45 minutes to a half hour away that I haven't been to in years. Hadn't been out here forever. Figured let's go out, check it out, and look at all this, guys. DVDs, CDs, a bajillion VHS tapes. I haven't seen this many VHS at a Goodwill in a long, long time. So tons of stuff to look through. There's some VCRs and DVD players up there on top. Very cool. So I had my work cut out for me. I had to look through all this, and I certainly did. Unfortunately, though, this was pretty cool, but unfortunately, I hate stores that do this. This is one of those Goodwills that keep all their DVDs and binders up front. I hate that. But after that, we headed out to another Goodwill. And this is an interesting Goodwill. It's a smaller Goodwill and a really weird looking, like almost like an airplane hangar type like building that's maybe about 10 minutes down the road. Pretty cool place, though. I actually really like this place. I've been here a very, very long time. And look at all these video games. And oh my god, a box full of Game Boy games? That is something I don't come across very often. When I started collecting again for the Game Boy, I thought I would come across Game Boy games all the time. I actually don't very often. There's some Blu-rays there, which is really cool. But I don't come across Game Boy games all that much, actually. And to see an entire box full of them, that was pretty cool. So, of course, I had to dive in and definitely found some interesting stuff in here. Look at this. Bomberman, classic NES series release. Yeah, $3. That was a done deal. I had to grab that. And they also had some Game Boy Advance videos, which is really cool. I do already have both of those, so didn't need it. And some classic Game Boy here. And getting these open with one hand is almost impossible. But there we go. Grab this racing game, so a Ferrari racing game. That was pretty cool. And Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That was also very cool. Definitely had to grab that. And some more cool stuff. It was stuff I already had, but still really cool to come across this much in the way of Game Boy games. That is just something I don't see too often. Awesome finds there. And then this is the weirdest part of this Goodwill. The downstairs. You literally go into the basement of the Goodwill. It is pretty weird. I've never seen this at a Goodwill before. But had to dive in, had to go down and do some exploring to see what's down here. And the one bad thing about down here is the whole place smelled like cat pee. So I don't know if they have a cat that lives down here, but the whole basement smelled of cat pee. But still, pretty impressive. Look at all the stuff they had. I was pretty blown away. Definitely excited to dive into all this. Lots and lots of stuff to look through. Cat pee aside, I had to dive in. And here are all the media titles. Very, very cool. Lots of titles on DVD. Lots of CDs as well. Some good stuff in here. Unfortunately, mostly all stuff I had or just didn't want. But definitely some interesting titles So it's pretty cool to see this much stuff down here in the basement of the Goodwill. There's even some seasons of It's Always Sunny, which is really cool. But again, I already have those. Do not need them. So I had to start off by diving into all the CDs here and come across things like Mighty Mighty Boss Stones and MXPX. Very cool, but I already have those. And all that is such a cool find right there. But I already have it, did not need it. And the one only thing I really came across that I had any interest in was this Finch right here. Unfortunately, scratch the hell, had to pass on that. And in the DVDs, I came across a UMD. Definitely had to pick that up. Didn't have that title yet on UMD. And I love collecting me some UMDs. And then on to the electronics section, and we come across this really cool VHS camcorder. That's awesome. And oh my god, what is that? A GameCube? For only $5? That is a really cool find. It was a little sketchy. I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but for $5, I was kind of willing to take the risk. That was pretty cool. Not something I come across very often out in the wild anymore. And this was a thing of beauty right here. Look at that. That wood grain VCR. That was amazing. Did I pick it up? No, but it was really cool looking. So there you go, guys. That was it. That was my trip out to a whole bunch of different stores this weekend. A lot of really cool stuff. So let's take a look at what I got. Well, all right, guys, there you go. That was my adventures out cinema hunting with Miss Sickness. Again, found some really cool stuff, so let's take a look at what I got. So first up here, the only two titles I picked up from the Strawberry Festival. The problem is going to be remembering how much I paid for all this stuff. I believe I paid a total of like 75 cents, I think, for all this, if I'm not mistaken. So grab this. This is an awesome deal. So on CD, I grabbed Super Hits of Conway Twitty. Look at this. This is really, really cool. I love me some great, like, 40s, 50s, and then some 60s country. Just a big fan of, like classic country, not nothing modern, like some 60s and then 70s, 80s, and all. Like, no, nothing like that. But I love classic country, so I am a big fan. Do lend me some Conway Twitty. This is like right around when country started getting kind of like mixed. There was some still good stuff and then some not so good stuff. This is good stuff. Very cool to come across this for so cheap. I think I paid like 50 cents for this. Awesome, awesome deal. As soon as I was done the Strawberry Festival, I'll pop this in the car. Got about halfway through one song, and Miss Sickness made me turn it off. So I haven't even gotten to listen to this yet, but I will be. So very, very cool. And then for 25 cents, I believe, I picked up Outlaws, the 10 Most Wanted, which is an A&E documentary double VHS release here of, I guess, like Wild West Outlaws. Oh, yes, it's actually from the Real West series, so that's awesome. Hosted by Kenny Rogers. I used to watch this all the time. This actually used to play, I think when I was in high school or college, maybe. I used to pretty much, during like high school and college, I only watched Discovery, Learning, History, Travel, Food Network, all the smart stations that unfortunately aren't very smart these days. All I ever watched. So I always had my TV set to History Channel in the morning. So I would wake up and I'd watch stuff like this in the morning. So I've probably already seen these, but I don't care. These are awesome. Very, very cool. I don't know if it's a bunch of, I'm assuming it's a few episodes. I'm not sure, but whatever. That's absolutely awesome. Again, I paid a total of like 25 cents for this. Very cool pickup. That was great. So unfortunately, not a lot going on at the Strawberry Festival / flea market. Not too much there to grab, but hey, I found some stuff. So that was cool. So again, after that, we were driving down the road, headed back home, and we passed a local bowling alley, which apparently was having a flea market going on in their parking lot, which I had no idea about. So we pulled over, stopped in there. So I ended up picking up 2 train VHS tapes for $1 a piece. The guy actually said I could have the entire box for $5. Thinking back on it, I probably should have taken him up on that because I could have just used it all as listy I paid since I only paid since I ended up paying $2 for all this. Whatever, I didn't do it. But I picked up The Magic of Lionel Trains and Great Toy Train Layouts of America, Part 3. That is awesome. I love this stuff. I'm a sucker for trains. I love trains, and I definitely love model trains. I've already told this story to you guys before, but I grew up with model trains and regular trains. I live maybe like an hour away from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Big train thing. The Pennsylvania Train Museum's out there. There's an actual train you can ride on out there with a big train station, all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. The model train museum's out there. There's a place called the Choo Choo Barn, which is this huge model train layout. And then actually, like in the other direction, maybe like 45 minutes or so away, there is a place called Roadside America, which is also another big, huge train layout. So I grew up with model trains. My dad used to have right here in the basement I'm shooting in right now. My dad had a big model train layout down here. So used to play with model trains. My grandfather was really into model trains. He had a model train layout at his house. Again, going to Stroudsburg all the time and Roadside America. So I grew up with model trains. I grew up with regular size trains. I was always just a big train nut when I was a kid. And to this day, I don't really, I don't have model trains. Actually, it's a lie. I do have my father's old model trains. Maybe I'll pull them out someday. I don't know. But, I don't play with model trains or anything like that. But I love still watching about them and learning about them and whatnot. So for a buck a piece, had to grab both these. Two cool finds. But then as you guys saw, there was a whole bunch of Disney artwork for $2 a piece. Probably could have bought a lot for like cheaper. Probably could have talked them down. It was pretty amazing, pretty blown away. The lady said that her husband's like a big Disney fan, and I think he said that he had their son's room all decorated in like Disney stuff. The son's a little bit older right now, and it's not really pretty in the video games now, not so much in the Disney. Which I was like, how can you not be in the Disney? But so apparently all these were in his son's room and stuff, and apparently the father even kept some of them. He didn't get rid of all of them. He actually kept a few of his favorites, but it was pretty cool seeing all that stuff. I did pass on most of it because what was I going to do with it? I actually did suggest to Miss Sickness about hanging all that up in Cinema Sickness Jr.'s room, but she said no. So it is what it is. But I ended up picking up one. Again, this was only $2, and I had to get this one. This is The Lion King Special Edition artwork. This is the artwork for the the DVD release, the special edition DVD release, which is why I picked this up. Thought this was so cool, and it's not only cinema related in the fact that it's Lion King, but it's also cinematic media related. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hang this down here. It's kind of large. I'm gonna try to find a space for it. I can't guarantee this is gonna get hung up though. I don't know where I'm gonna put this, but I gotta do something with it. It was only $2. I wasn't gonna pass on this. This was really, really cool, and hopefully I'll find a place to hang it up down here, or at least somewhere in the house. This is awesome. It's all framed. It's beautiful. It's amazing. $2 for this? Yeah, that was a steal. That was a really, really cool find. All right. So then after that, like I said, we were planning on not doing anything else. We went to go pick up Cinema Sickness Jr., but he was sleeping, and my mother-in-law said, just go have a fun day. Leave him here. Go have fun. So we headed out to the country, out towards Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I love it out there, and there's some Goodwills out there that I have not been to in a very, very long time. Wanted to hit him up and actually found some pretty cool stuff. So for $3, $2.97, a little bit much for a CD, but a cool one, I have the Best of The Who. Very awesome. I do enjoy The Who, so very cool to have the best of. It's, again, that whole thing where would I put a full-length Who album on my iPod? No, I would buy a full-length album and have it in my collection, but would it make it onto my iPod? Probably not, but would a best of? Definitely. So very cool. That's going on my iPod. This is awesome. Walt Disney World Magic without the kids. Look at this. This is cool. I actually have another one of these. Different artwork, though. I'm not sure if it's going to be an actual different program. Usually they are. I said to you guys before, if the artwork is different, it's usually a different program. It might be very similar, but there's like different things added in because stuff. I mean, that's the thing with Walt Disney World. Stuff's always changing. There's always new attractions. There's always new like dining stuff. Always new stuff going on. Things are constantly changing. Nothing stays the same at Walt Disney World for very long. It's always evolving, always changing, always adding new stuff, taking new stuff away. Things are always moving around. And as such, they got to keep pumping these out. They had to do it with VHS. They're now doing it with DVDs. DVDs, I always say, always look, there's like a number on it. It'll say like version number, and there's numbers always change. That means stuff's been updated. And kind of the same thing with these, where it's not number-wise, but usually different artwork-wise. So very, very cool. And I love it. This one has all the inserts and everything. It's so cool. I got the guy's address who this was originally sent to. But what's really cool is this map, which is really, really proportioned incorrectly. Like everything's so close to one another. That's not how it goes. But what I love is it still has Discovery Island, it has River Country, and it has Pleasure Island on here. That's stuff that doesn't even exist. There are hotels that now exist that are on here. Animal Kingdom obviously isn't on here. This is very, very dated. I don't see a date on here. I wish I could find one. But this is awesome. That is really cool. I love when these things have the inserts. A lot of times you'll find these with the inserts missing. This one had it. This was really cool. I paid 97 cents for this. Awesome find. Then also 97 cents, I have the Buddy System. Never seen it. I don't know anything about it, but it looked like a fun movie, and it also has a squeeze and shake case, which is really cool. But again, I know nothing about this. If you guys have seen this movie, if you know anything about this movie, leave some comments down below. I just picked it up for $1. That looked cool. Same thing here goes with Is it Remo Williams? Am I saying that right? Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not. But anyway, it looked really cool. Looked like a fun movie. It's an HBO movie. A movie released through HBO. Looked interesting. I've never seen it. Again, know nothing about it. Looked cool, though. For over $1, I picked that up as well. This is cool. Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those Goodwills that do not keep their DVDs in the cases. You have to go up to the front and get them, and they have them in a binder, which I hate when stores do that, because you're basically just asking to scratch the discs, and it just drives me nuts. They might receive a disc that's in perfect condition. They stick it in that book, it'll get scratched. I don't like it. Bad. But I ended up picking up 2 titles for $3 a piece. First one here being the best of Craftston Villas? Am I saying that correctly? Volume 1. Yeah, this is put out by Troma. This is, one of the highest rated TV shows on UK's Channel 4. So it looks like maybe like stop motion animation, but like really like vulgar stuff. Yeah, raunchy puppet sex, erotic gay-mation, overdosing kleptomaniac grandmother, and a vicious projectile vomiting cat. So weird. I don't know, but it was Troma. I picked it up for $3. This should be a fun one. If you guys are from the UK and you want to share any more information on this, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. And then this is something I already have, but I don't come across this too often, so I grabbed it just as a backup. And it was also $3, and surprisingly, discs scratch-free. That was amazing. We have the Toy Story 2-pack. This is really cool. Like I said, I do already own this. In fact, I'm actually going to check my copy to make sure it's 100% scratch-free. I think the copy I bought was, but I'm going to double check on that, because this one was completely scratch-free. Couldn't believe the discs were in brand new condition. My wife actually said to me, I said something to her, I'm like, I can't believe it. She's like, you got to remember, not every DVD is owned by a child. I just see a children's DVD and think, a kid owned this, and they were going to destroy the disc. And she's like, maybe an adult like yourself owned this and kept good care of it. I was like, that's actually good thinking. That's probably the case. So probably an adult had this and didn't scratch it. So pretty awesome. $3 for this is an amazing deal. Very, very cool. And the discs, again, were in perfect shape. So for $3, I had to grab it. Even though I already have a copy, it's just going as a backup, because this is a really cool find, and it's something I just don't come across, like, ever. All right, so after that Goodwill, we headed to another Goodwill, which is really interesting. It's like in this, it looks like it's in an old like airplane hangar or something. It's a really weirdly shaped building. Again, it looks kind of like it's like domed. It's like a airplane hangar, but it's a really cool Goodwill nevertheless. And strangely, you walk in the front, and it's mostly all clothes and stuff, but then all like the other crap is like down the basement, which is really, really weird. Outside, it was really cool. That's why I love the country so much. Right next door, there was a house selling homemade lemonade, and they had like produce and stuff. Homemade lemonade and homemade root beer, and it was all in the honor system. They had a little jar. It was actually a bucket with a hole cut on the top. You just put your money in. It was so cool. It was like $1 for like a homemade root beer. I didn't like it though. Unfortunately, I found out I'm not a big fan of homemade root beer. Homemade root beer, at least this homemade root beer, kind of tasted like beer, and I don't like beer. So it had like a bit of a beer taste to it. I was like, not my thing. I guess I missed the high fructose corn syrup, crappy taste of mass-produced root beer. I guess that's what I'm used to. That's what I like. I wasn't a big fan of this. My wife liked it. She ended up drinking the whole thing. So very cool. And we got a cool, like, this glass, like, fancy glass bottle that you get to keep. That was pretty amazing. So, again, I love the country. So anyway, so what I ended up grabbing, first off, I come across all those Game Boy games, which is awesome. They had that whole counter, like a whole like display case full of video games, which is a pretty cool thing. I don't see video games like a ton anyway at Goodwill's. I mean, I see them, but not that many of them, and especially not Game Boy games. I don't come across Game Boy games as often as I thought I would. When I started collecting for Game Boy, like I guess about a year ago, I started collecting again for Game Boy, and I thought, this is going to be cool. I'm going to find Game Boy games all the time. I mean, they're Game Boy games. It was like, the Game Boy Color, Game Boy SP, Game Boy Advance anyway, like some of the biggest selling systems of all time. Games are going to be just everywhere. I don't come across them as much as I expected. So to come across an entire like box full of them was pretty cool. Ended up picking up 3. This is amazing. In fact, I actually kind of made the guy working there kind of mad, because he was apparently going to buy this. I guess it's like most stores where you can't buy something while you're like on duty while you're working, but once you're off your shift, then you can make a purchase. So he is waiting basically, I guess, to get off his shift to purchase this. If I was him, I would have taken this and hidden it, but whatever. I grabbed the classic NES series of Bomberman. Oh my god! Not only is this cool because I want to get all the classic NES series releases, but it's Bomberman. This is a great game. Used to play this all the time when I was a kid on the NES. I never beat it though, so now that I have it, I'm going to finally get around to beating this. This is a cool find. $3 for this. That was a steal. This was an awesome pickup. Blown away by that. Definitely the coolest thing in my opinion in the box. And then also for $2.79, $3, we have Ferrari Grand Prix Challenge. Very cool. I love me some racing games, and I love picking up classic Game Boy games. Will this be any good? I don't know. I haven't tested it out yet. Again, when it comes to racing games, it all depends on the controls, in my opinion, and like how the car handles. If I turn a corner and the car just flies around, not good. But if it handles really well, it could be a fun game. So we'll see how Ferrari Grand Prix Challenge is. But I had to grab that, especially for only $3. And then also for $3, grabbed Bill and Ted's Excellent Game Boy Adventures. I think in the video I just said Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, but this is Bill and Ted's Excellent Game Boy Adventure. Very cool. And look at that. It's got the Game Genie codes on the back too. That is really, really cool. That was a pretty awesome thing. I love when they had the Game Genie codes on the back, because I definitely do have a Game Boy Game Genie. So really cool. Again, haven't played it yet. I don't know. Hopefully it's better than the NES game. I hope. We'll see. But that is really, really cool. So $3 a piece for all those. Awesome find. I'm really excited to come across some Game Boy games. But then downstairs into the cat pee basement. Again, that's what it smelled like. The wife couldn't stay down there. She was actually down there with me for a while. She's like, I'm going to go back upstairs and just look around the clothes, because she's like, it just smells like cat pee down here. I'm like, it did, but cat pee aside, I got to look. I will tough it out and deal with cat pee to look through some cinema. And unfortunately, as far as CDs go, there wasn't anything I really wanted, except for like that Finch CD, but it was scratched. So nothing as far as CDs go, which kind of bummed me out at first, because I came across that Money Money Boss Tones and the MXPX. I'm thinking, all right. And there's the Supertones were in there as well. I don't really like the Supertones. I love ska, but not the Supertones. I saw their CD as well. I'm thinking, all right, there's like punk and ska in here. This is going to be really cool. That was like it. There was like nothing else. So I didn't grab any CDs. DVDs, nothing I needed to grab, but I did grab one UMD, and that was really cool. We have Little Man, which is awesome. Some Wayans Brothers right here. I hear this is a pretty cheesy movie. I do actually own it on DVD, but I haven't got around to watching this yet, which is kind of cool, because now the first time I do get around to watching it, I can watch it on UMD. So very awesome. Had to grab that. Pick this up for also $3, which is really, really cool. So another UMD for the collection. Love picking up UMD movies. And then the most interesting for last. This is cool. I was so blown away by this. For only $5, I did pick up a Nintendo GameCube. Look at that. How cool is this? I did not know if this is going to work or not. You come across a GameCube at a Goodwill, it's a crapshoot. Why is this at Goodwill? Did somebody just say, oh, we have this lying around, we don't want it anymore, give it to Goodwill? Or is it, oh, this is broken, give it to Goodwill? You never know. So first thing I did when I got home, plug this up, because I do already have GameCube. This didn't come with any it didn't come with controllers. It didn't come with any wires, nothing like that. But I already have a GameCube. Again, I don't play GameCube games. I don't collect for the GameCube. I don't play GameCube games. I only have this because I have the Game Boy Advance adapter, which allows me to play my Game Boy collection on my TV. So that's the only reason why I have a GameCube. I don't have a GameCube for Game Boy games. I don't play, or for GameCube games. I don't play GameCube games. I play Game Boy games on this. But so again, I already have a GameCube for that. So I just plugged all the wires in, plugged it up. Started it up, worked perfectly. This is a perfect working condition GameCube. Only downfall was the fact that the front of it has become like yellowed, as like every Nintendo console seems to do. But other than that, it's in perfect condition. I actually cleaned it up a bit. Took some like electronic cleaner and just cleaned the whole thing. Got the dust and dirt off it, and it cleaned up very, very nice. And this is a Model 1, which means it has both the the digital AV outputs and the analog AV outputs, which analog AV outputs, which is something that supposedly a lot of gamers really sought after this model, because it has the digital outputs, which allows you to have like, I know it's component, but yeah, anyway, I think it allows you to have component outputs, which unfortunately I don't have. Those cables are extremely expensive. I don't have those, unfortunately, but this is definitely a cool model, because then they released it like basically like that, but that only allowed you to have the analog outputs. But still very, very cool. This is an awesome find. A really cool GameCube right here for only $5. That's a perfect working condition. So now, if anything goes wrong with mine, I have a backup. And check this out. We'll pop it open here. It even has a game inside. We have Madden 07, which I have no interest in. I'm not going to keep this. I'm going to post this up on, it's actually in really good condition, actually. I'm going to post this up on Listia. Just use as Listia baits. I have no interest. Even if this was it's Madden. I would have put any game that's in here would have made its way on the Listia anyway, but it's Madden. I don't play sports games. Unless it was maybe a hockey game, but this is, no, I wouldn't play it anyway. I was actually kind of bummed. I was hoping maybe it was like Mario Sunshine or something like that, because if it was, I probably would have actually played it and like just beat it all the way through, because I have played Mario Sunshine and I have beat it before. It's a really fun game, and if that was what was in here, I would have actually played it and beat it. Or if it was any other like really cool game, maybe like a Zelda game or something like that, I probably would have actually played it, just because I was like, well, I have the game, I'm gonna play it, why not? And then as soon as I was done and beat it, I would have put up on Listia. But no, I'm not gonna play this one. So again, very, very cool. $5 for this, just a steal. Really cool find for $5. Couldn't believe it was in perfect working condition too. I was kind of expecting to get home and find out this didn't work, but it does, and that's amazing. So there you go, guys. That was my cinema hunting trip with the wife. Very, very cool. Lots of awesome stuff. Definitely a fun day, especially since it was a day that I really hadn't planned on doing too much hunting. I was just going to go to the Strawberry Festival flea market. That was it. That was my only plan, and then ended up going to the flea market at the bowling alley. Ended up going to 2 more Goodwills. Very cool. Got a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Definitely a fantastic day of cinema hunting. So that is it, guys. So like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you're not already subscribed, you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button and you will get one. And also, if you want to grab yourself a Cinema Sickness t-shirt, a hoodie, tank top, hats, buttons, kids gear, all kinds of cool Cinema Sickness gear, head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com, where you can get yourself some of that. And finally, if you want to support new content, just show your thanks and appreciation for these videos, head over to patreon.com/cinemasickness, where every tiny little bit helps and is very much greatly appreciated. So again, that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.